Hello everyone, magandang araw. In my last video, I discussed about depression, defined it, described how a depressed person behaves and feels by citing my own personal experience and knowledge on the matter. Ngayon, ang ikukwento ko naman sa inyo ay kung paano ba ako na-depressed o yung causes of my depression. Pero bago yun, welcome again to Body and Spirit channel, all about coping with life's adversities. Please like, share, and comment down below. At kung hindi pa kayo nakakapag-subscribe, please subscribe now and hit the bell so you'll be notified of my next videos. Some websites list the major causes of depression. Other internet sources give contributing factors. But I'm not going to discuss all of these. I'm not going to give a lecture on various theories on why people become depressed or the causes of depression. Since iba't iba ang causes of depression at iba't iba rin ang vulnerability ng mga tao sa depression, I will just focus on my own particular experience and the causes or reasons for my depression. So, ang content ng videong ito ay confined lamang sa aking nalalaman about the topic gained from what I had gone through and not on theories learned in school and elsewhere. In other words, I am speaking from my own personal experience. These are the reasons why I got into the depression. Disillusionment. This is my disappointment on the result of dogmatically clinging to my convictions, or when harsh reality made me lose faith in what I believed in. Let me go into details. I'm authentically a good person, matulungin, very approachable, one who doesn't know how to say no to those asking favors, basta rin lang at kaya ko. When I was studying, especially during high school, ang daming lumalapit sa akin upang magpaturong gumawa ng school assignments nila. Nag-tutor pa ako for free. Pag-uwi ko sa amin, ang daming notebooks na naghihintay sa akin. Pag pinagpatong-patong, half ruler ang taas. Puro assignments. Almost every night, ganoon. But I was happy because they made me feel wanted, needed, very important. Most of all, they gave me a wonderful feeling resulting from helping others. Sadly though, after finishing high school, I didn't go to college. Nakakapanibago kasi no one was looking for me anymore. They no longer needed me. Mas mataas ng pinag-aralan nila kaysa sa akin. Mas marami na silang alam. I suddenly felt unneeded, and I realized that I was only important to others because they found me useful to them. When I ceased to be useful, seeing me wasn't worth their time anymore. Harsh reality. Pero kahit walang college education, I was able to find a job. May mga lumapit na naman sa akin asking favors. Lalo na nung lumipat ako sa US Naval Base, where compared with what I got in Manila, my salary increased almost fourfold. Noong panahong iyon, wala pang mga job opportunities sa Saudi at iba pang Middle East countries. Neighbors and friends, as well as other job seekers who learned about my employment to the American base, purposely saw me requesting me to help them find jobs. Most of them were college graduates. Fortunately, nagkaroon ako ng mga kakilala sa civilian personnel office na napagtatanungan ko ng mga job opportunities. So, hindi naman naging mahirap ang tumulong sa kanila. Pero matrabaho at magastos din ang pagtulong sa kapwa. Bukod pa sa nakakaabala rin sa akin dahil pumapasok din ako sa trabaho. Although karamihan sa mga natulungan ko ay college graduates, marami sa kanila ang hindi marunong gumawa ng resume or letter of application or mag-fill out ng blank application form provided by the personnel office. So, I would help them, making sure their qualifications would match the required qualifications of the vacant positions they were applying for, para mas malaki ang chance na matawagan sila for examination. Kadalasan, dahil ako ang character reference nila or their point of contact, sa akin ipinadadala ang mga tawag nila. So, dadalhin ko pa ito sa kanila. Medyo abala talaga sa akin. When they reported for the exam or interview, sa akin sila tumutuloy. I'd offer them food. At dahil wala pa silang trabaho, there were instances that some of them would borrow money from me for their transportation fares in going back to their respective places. Aside from all this that I mentioned above, I gave them encouragement by telling them the many benefits awaiting them in case they were luckily selected, like sending them to various trainings and seminars locally and abroad. Most importantly, I gave them assurance that in case they were hired, they could stay temporarily in my place until such time that they were able to find a room they could rent. All these I willingly and cheerfully did for them just for the love and joy of helping others, never asking nor expecting anything in return from them. This is also my way of giving back in appreciation for the blessing of a good paying job. Puro ganon ang takbo ng everyday life ko. Hindi man hanapin, abot ang dating ng mga favor seekers. Laging may nakikituloy sa bahay. Relatives, neighbors in the province, friends of my siblings, etc. Mayroon pang grupo yung nag-exam sa US Navy. I lived with my sister who worked at the Navy Exchange and I could sense there were times she wasn't pleased. Kasi siya ang cook eh. Yes, kadalasan ganon ang eksena. Until one gloomy day, helping others got a negative result. A young jobless engineer was escorted to my place by his brother whom I met at the Manila hospital. I helped him and was luckily hired. After staying with us for a couple of weeks, he moved to another house with his co-worker. After a few months, he visited me and told me about how things were going in his job. He seemed to brag about the trainings he attended in Singapore and Guam. The following month daw ipadadala naman siya sa Diego Garcia. Then he made this comment, "Bakit ikaw ang tagal mo na rito, ganyan ka pa rin?" He added, "Bakit sabi sa akin ng Filipino supervisor ko, wag daw akong maniwalang may tumulong sa aking makapasok sa trabaho dito." I have never asked credit for any good thing I've done. It was as if he wanted to erase the fact that I was instrumental in his getting a good paying job. I was offended, felt insulted, and hurt. Then, there were these two ladies who, when hired, requested me if they could stay with us and share in the rent of the house. However, after a few months, their assertiveness showed and frankly told me not to accept visitors in the house. Nang hindi ako nakatanggi sa kababayan kong nakituloy sa amin, one of them insolently told me, "Akala mo ba ang tingin nila sa iyo mabait? Nagkakamali ka. Ang tingin nila sa iyo uto-uto." Another lady from our home province, when hired, joined us in the house. But after a month, she left without saying a word, and whenever we met again anywhere, she seemed not to know me. There were other cases of what seemed like ungratefulness of some people I was able to help, and they were indeed heartbreaking. I never expected anything in return for my effort, pero hindi ko naman din gugustong masaktan ang kalooban ko. It was quite unfortunate that during the time those unpleasant incidents occurred, I was also having problems back in the province, making me more prone to getting hurt emotionally. But if only to be fair, although many of those whom I had helped turned unpleasant, not all of them were such. But favor seekers continued to come. They would leave their resumes to me in the hope that, like those who successfully got employed through my help, they would also get calls and be likewise employed. But I started to have strange and ambivalent feelings. Although I wanted very much to help, my unpleasant encounter with people I earlier mentioned made me cynical about helping others. Since the inspiration I was getting from helping others had been lost, resentment and regret set in. As helping others started to have a different meaning and trying to avoid getting hurt again, I deemed it necessary not to act on the request. After a reassessment of the results of my act of kindness, I decided not to submit the resume they asked me to submit as I had become cynical about the virtue I used to possess, that of helping others. It was thus ironic that an action which used to be a source of my pride and joy had become a source of pain and sadness to me. But there was another case of disillusionment that had a much more painful effect on me and was a single major factor for my depression. That was my disillusionment with one of my significant persons. There was even ego involvement in it. But since this is already quite a long video, we will reserve the topic for our next video. Okay? This is Body and Spirit channel, all about coping with life's adversities. Please subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified of my next videos. Thank you for watching. Until then,